So welcome to another exciting episode with your host Tameen25, that's me, and today we're going to be doing another tech review and an unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Gear 2 and the Samsung Galaxy Gear 2 Neo. So if you want to hear more about those smartwatches from Samsung, stay tuned because we're going to do a full review of those watches and we're going to compare it to the original Gear. So obviously the first thing to start off with is the original Galaxy Gear. Obviously the Gear is the original Samsung Galaxy Gear wearable from Samsung. It came with a camera which was strapped into the side of the wrist strap, which you can clearly see. The watch was not dust proof or waterproof, and even this one has suffered a little crack on the screen there. But the watch was pretty solid. It didn't actually break because of the crack. It broke because of it actually has that Samsung's little secret is that it actually has some software issues with this watch which it couldn't actually fix. These all become redundant after about 2.5 years of usage, but it is a great watch nevertheless. Now Samsung have now released the Samsung S3, the Gear S3, which we're not reviewing today, but that is the newest watch. Now the reason I'm making this video is because to try and help you guys realize that going from this original watch to what they have currently, it's like going backwards in technology capabilities rather than going forward. I'll explain that in a second. So moving on from the Galaxy Gear 1, we come to the Galaxy Gear 2. This is the second edition smartwatch from Samsung, which obviously embezzled the new home screen button which was there, and obviously the full 1080p resolution camera and the IR blaster which was situated in the front of the camera here. Also obviously the screen is the same display. It's got a high resolution display than the original Samsung, which was pretty cool. I mean, this is really impressive stuff. It's actually got some really cool little things you can do on this, and obviously they incorporated the camera into the watch still, and voice calling and all that lovely jazz. So that's that. Moving on from that, we come to the Galaxy Gear Neo. Now this is supposed to be a revised and slimmed down version of the Gear 2, in the sense that it doesn't actually come with a camera. This thing here is the IR blaster, which allows you to control certain electronic devices that have got infrared, and obviously they still incorporate the home screen, but obviously the finish isn't as good as the Gear 2. This is more of a sportier kind of watch, doesn't actually encompass as much, but still has got all the great sort of functions of the Samsung Gear. It has got all the same functions. All three have got the same functions here, but what starts to happen from this model and now onwards to the S3, they start to lose certain functions. For example, this one originally comes with obviously the camera, the touchscreen display, voice calling and all that lovely stuff. The only thing this watch was missing was the browsing capability of going on the internet, but obviously aftermarket software could make that happen, but we won't talk about that today. Moving on to the Gear 2, the Gear 2 has been improved from the Gear 1. I would say this is a straight up improvement. If you're planning to buy any watch from the Samsung range, this is the one you want to look for. This is the best watch that they made, should I say. The reason I say that is because it still encompassed everything from the original watch, but they moved it and made it more slimmer, more slimline, more robust. They made this one waterproof, dustproof. Also it has incorporated the camera but with a full HD lens this time, so it's able, and obviously they moved it off the strap, whereas on the Galaxy Gear 1 it's on the strap. Here they've moved it off the strap and put it on the actual aluminium bezel itself, and even in terms of their thickness you can clearly see two are completely different in their thickness. This one is a lot thinner, even the band is very different, and also they started introducing this new thing where you could actually change these to different colors. Now obviously that taking into consideration this bit here is orange, changing this to yellow or something or white would make this still remain orange. But the thing is, you get the idea. I mean, obviously you can order this watch in many different colors. They do it in 4 prime colors mainly. You can order, there's the orange, there's the white, there's blue, black and brown. That's the colors that they come in. Now obviously with the Samsung Galaxy Gear Neo, we obviously see something completely different happen. What Samsung starts to do is they start to get as far away from this watch as possible, and even to the degree they start to reduce what you'd get from this watch to this watch, but the price goes up. This is what doesn't make any sense. For example, currently on the market, this watch you can pick it up for about 45 to 60 pounds. This one you can pick it up for about 100, between 100 and 130 pounds. This one it costs between 75 and all the way up to like 200 odd pound, depending on if it's new and used and all that sort of stuff. But this is the range. Okay, this is working out to be more expensive than the other two, even though this is the better watch than that. Now obviously this is still more expensive currently on market than the Neo 2, but at the time of release they actually made this more expensive than the Gear 2, which made no sense. So in the way that they get far away from the Gear 1 when you get to the Gear 2 Neo is obviously you lose the camera, and even the build quality is completely different from the 3 phones. I mean, you can clearly see this definitely looks like a better built. This is much better built than this. This is just like a classic plastic kind of finish. It does not represent itself like as well, I don't think, to be honest. The AMOLED display is still the same. This is still dust proof, waterproof and all that jazz, but it's kind of getting itself away now. It's starting to tear away from the, I would say, the classiness of the Samsung unique products that they do sell. Rather than it being able to do so many things, it's doing even less and less and less, but you're paying more and more and more for it. Also, one thing that changed a lot with the Samsung Gear is the Gear 1's original charging docking station looked like this. It was a cradle which you opened up and the watch slipped into this and it's shut, and then you plug it from the back here with mini USB and it will charge the watch up. Now what they did, Samsung got rid of this idea. They literally started bringing this device into the play. Now each of them have got their designated number. So the R380 is for the Gear 2, and obviously the Neo has its own as well. And they literally done it so that it would just clip on the back of the watch like so, just like that. You plug a mini USB into there and your watch will be charging. As simple as that. It looks okay and it's not as bulky as this thing. I mean, you imagine lumping, and imagine if this thing broke. If this catch thing broke on here, it would just be the end of it. Now at the beginning I was like, oh, this is flimsy and stupid, but then I look at the size difference of what the phone looks like with it on and everything, and you can clearly see that it's actually a very good way of charging the Gear 2. So you've been watching this video and we've been saying to you not to worry about getting the Gear 1 anymore, to go for the Gear 2 or the Neo, and really which one out of the two is the best one to go for. The simple answer is listed in what you want the watch to be able to do. For me personally, I need the watch to be able to take pictures, video, also phone calls and send phone calls, emails, and read my emails, and be able to web browse and stuff like that. All these things it's got to be able to do. This does it without any hesitation. It does it perfectly fine every time. Unlike the Gear 2 Neo, which does struggle a little bit on a couple of applications, and because it's like the revised version, a sort of broken down version, I think Samsung did this in order to kind of like start to create the watches that they've got now, which is like the S, the S2. The S is even bigger than this thing, but the S hasn't got a camera and it doesn't do pictures or anything like that. It does full web browsing, has a curved screen, but they're trying to get away from this original sort of watch, which was unique to Samsung, to have a watch that had a camera and all that stuff, because if you look at all of the smartwatches out there, Samsung were the first one to bring out a watch with a camera built on it, and now they've moved away from that and they're trying to reinvent and be new and all that stuff, but it really isn't. I mean, if you look at the Samsung Galaxy S, the S1, the S2 and the S3, they can't be so far from the original watch, because it's literally not even the same thing anymore. It's gone from being a square looking watch to being a round one. Anyway, this has been your boy Tamim25. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little review and unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Gear 2 and the Gear 2 Neo. They both have amazing functions and would be perfect for various different individuals. I personally believe that a lot of the smartwatches that are coming out in the future are getting less and less future proofing, and even things that they should be able to do. Like, you imagine you can just take a picture on your wrist rather than having to worry about taking out your phone. It would make your life a lot easier. But the thing is, with the new Samsung S3, it doesn't do that. It just basically, it's just a watch with a turning bezel. That, to be honest with you, what does it actually do? Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to leave a like on the video. It's always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get more and more content just like this one and other ones that will be coming out in the future. But until next time, guys, as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and peace.